What would your life look like if you fully trusted that the universe was always looking out for you? Is there something in your life that might be different that you'd let go of if you fully understood and fully knew without a doubt that the universe was looking out for you? Hey guys, it's Francisca and welcome to today's video on trusting the universe. That is going to be the theme for this month's series. This is the first video in that series. The second video I'll release next week, which will be some tarot spreads that can help you along your path with trusting the universe. And then I'll release a meditation in a couple of weeks. And as always, the last Tuesday of the month, if you want to breathe into what it feels like to trust the universe, then you can join me for a group breathwork session. So I am really excited to talk about this topic. Trusting the universe wasn't always something that was easy for me. I didn't even know what that meant for a long time. I'm sure that you hear it quite often, like, trust the universe. And what does that even mean to you? What does that even mean to me? And I think it's subjective. I think it means different things to different people. When I refer to the universe, I'm not referring to bearded white guy up in the heavens as I was taught in Catholic school. I'm referring to all that is. Infinite intelligence, everything that makes up everything that we are, that we're a part of too. I believe that there's something bigger that has this overarching view that is connected to me, that I'm a part of, that's a part of me, that knows everything that I want and is able to help me find the best way to get to that path. But as humans, we have free will. So we have the ability to trust the universe, and we also have the ability to not trust the universe. We have the ability to trust ourselves too. So in today's video, I'm going to share some tips that you can use that have been helpful for me along my journey in trusting the universe, as well as a story on what it looks like when you trust the universe. And I'm also going to share some journal prompts because it can be really difficult to find your way and find your own way of listening and trusting the universe and trusting all that is an infinite intelligence, and that there is something out there that's bigger than you, that's got this overarching view that can deliver all of your desires and all of your wants and needs, and is really out there responding to what you're putting out there. So my first tip is to get in touch with your feelings, especially all the feelings, like your uncomfortable feelings, your good feelings, the not so good feelings. It's really important to get in touch with that, because I feel like your feelings are a beacon, like a signal, and it's kind of what you're putting out there, but it's also kind of like a compass to where you're at. And once you're able to get in touch with your feelings, recognize them, be self-aware, and be able to process them, then the universe can respond in kind to what you're putting out there. And if you're having difficulties processing uncomfortable feelings, you might want to go back and check out that series I did a couple of months ago on processing uncomfortable feelings. There's journal prompts, there's tarot spreads, there's also a meditation to help you along with that. My second tip is to learn to get in touch with your intuition. Strengthen your intuitive muscle. Strengthening your intuitive muscle helps you to do the action-oriented part of trusting the universe, because the universe can send you signs and signals, synchronicities, which is the third tip, is to watch out for those. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But if you're in touch with your intuition, then you can follow these little breadcrumbs, which lead you into paying attention to synchronous moments. And if, again, the second step is the theme that I put out last week, which is following your intuition. So if you need help with that, then you'll want to check out last month's videos on following your intuition, journal prompts, and tarot spreads, because it's a really important step. Because we have free will. And so we're co-creators in manifesting or uncovering our lives and discovering what it is that we want in our lives. And if we don't take action on those things that we feel are right for us, then we'll never get anywhere. We'll stay in the same space, you know? And so taking action is a big part of it. And you can take action all day long, but if you're not taking action that's inspired by what your heart is really wanting for you and what your soul is really asking you to do, then it's just going to take a little bit longer to get where you want to be. So following your intuition, again, that second step. The third tip that I want to give for trusting the universe is to watch out for synchronicities. I believe that synchronicities are a way for the universe to signal to you, hey, you're on the right path. Hey, you're going the right way. And really pay attention to those synchronicities. Start chronicling them and journaling about them. And, you know, really think about all the things that happened or had to happen in order for you specifically to experience that synchronicity at that point in time. I almost made a separate video about synchronicities before this video, but I thought about it and I'm like, it all goes hand in hand. When you're aware of your feelings and you're able to process them, then you can determine or decipher or, distinguish what is intuition versus what is fear. What is it that's making you feel fearful and closed off? Or is there something that's making you feel like you're scared of something, but still expansive and want to take a leap? Like there's certain things that can mask themselves as intuition. So being able to discern your feelings between intuition really helps so that when you see those synchronous moments of magic, that you're able to follow them and that you're able to trust yourself, because then once you trust yourself, then you can start trusting other people or other things and other, like all that is. You can start trusting that there is an infinite intelligence out there that's looking out for you, that's got this overarching view, because we may have like a certain desire about something, but we may not know like all the details or all the fine tuning that can really make us happy in the end. Also, the last tip that I'll give you, well, I don't think it's the last tip because I think there's so many tips, but one of the other tips that I do want to share with you is to let go of expectation, let go of outcomes. Once you have a desire in your heart, once you put like an order out there to the universe, it's not your job to figure out how that's going to happen, like how things are going to unfold. That's not your job. Your job is to desire, to decide what you want, and then to get in a space where you can allow those synchronicities to happen, listen to your intuition, trust yourself, and then follow those synchronous breadcrumbs that lead you down the path of what it is that you want. And even more so, so that you can, when you let go of expectation, when you let go of a certain outcome, it's so much easier for the universe to deliver all the other things that come along with it, as I'll share in the story or my example of one example that I have of many of trusting the universe. So, as I said, I have so many examples of what this looks like. And again, it's a favorite topic of mine. It just lights me up because for so long I didn't believe that there was something bigger than me, and I didn't believe that that something bigger than me had this overarching view that could really deliver these things that make me happy and in unexpected ways, and in ways that really blow my mind sometimes. So I'm going to share the story because I'm already tearing up because it's a really great story. So last August, July, August, I was searching through YouTube because I wanted to find a creative meditation. I meditate every day in the morning. I do an in-bed meditation. Sometimes I do a sitting down silent meditation. But first thing I do when I wake up is I put my hand on my heart and I'm like, what do you need today? And then I, listened for that. And usually it's like, hey, you need a meditation in bed. So I was scrolling through YouTube and I was like, I need a creativity meditation because I'm really feeling like I'm in a creative slump. So I started scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I'm like, nope, not that one, not that one. And I went like all the way down, and I kept going and I kept reloading. And my eye caught this meditation from the Artist Morning. I'd never heard of that channel before, but I was like, this looks really good. And you guys, I was in tears during that meditation because it was so beautiful and so moving. And I'm like, yes, this is what I need. This is what I was looking for. And then I click on the description box below the meditation, and it's like, hey, come meditate with us. We meditate and we journal together, and it's a group of creative people, and come join us. And I didn't know how recent it was, so I signed up. I listened to my intuition and I signed up, and I was like, yes, this just feels right. It felt right. And I felt so scared because I'm not the type of person that joins any kind of group. I don't have a lot of groups that I've joined, but this group just was really calling to me. And so I joined it, and I'm so glad that I did. A few months after that, there was the theme of receiving, and that was the meditation for the day. And there's this portion of the Artist Morning where you get to lounge around and share your feelings about, anything that the meditation brought up or anything that you wanted to celebrate. So I shared with the group that I was having, I was having some issues with receiving. Like, I had done a lot of work around receiving, but I was still experiencing some difficulties around that. And so I was vulnerable and I shared it. And this amazing group of people eye gazed me for about 4 minutes. So I'm sitting there, or I don't think it was 4 minutes, but it was a long time. And I was sitting there receiving their loves as they were eye gazing me. And it was just such a beautiful moment. And then somebody in the group afterwards said that they had something that they needed to express to me. And this lovely human being starts chanting to me. It's like the sound that was coming from the depths of her soul. And she was singing to me, and or chanting, and I was just crying, and she was crying. It was just such a beautiful moment. And like the whole group was crying. And she says like she had never shared anything like that before. Like she didn't know what got into her, but she felt like she needed to share that. And I was just beyond grateful. I was appreciative. I was in love with myself. I was in love with the world the whole day, the whole next day. It was just this feeling of elation and beautiful expression that I had never experienced before. It was amazing. But it gets even better because a couple of weeks later, I am working on the Conscious Breath Connection course that I created a few months ago. And I was working on it, and I had to find a stock picture for it. So I was scrolling through the stock photo website, and I found one where this lady's like kind of like dancing by the trees, and I was like, hey, I used that photo. And then I click on the photographer, and it just so happens to be Darius. And Darius is the creator of the Artist Morning. But it gets even better because then I start scrolling down all of his photos, and I was like, oh my God, the person that was dancing in the tree in the post that I had used that photo for a year and a half before was the same lady who sang to me. Her name is Lil. And Lil is the same one that was chanting to me a couple of weeks ago. And the even weirder or more awesome thing about it is that the caption that I used for that photo, or the quote that I used for that photo, is an Abraham Hicks quote that says, "There's so many creative people out there wanting to dance with me." This photo, you guys, when I posted that, when I made that post, when I grabbed that photo, and when I made that post a year and a half before, I was feeling like there has to be people out there that are just like me, that are soulful, that are creative, that are open-minded, that are open-hearted, that are just as loving as I am. There has to be people out there that believe the same thing as I do, or close to the same thing that I do, that are in the same vibrational vicinity as I am. I know that there has to be people out there like that. I know that I can't be the only one. And there I am a year and a half later with this beautiful lady chanting to me. And that's the beautiful thing about the universe, because it delivers that plus more. So the more that it delivered, that artist morning group not just delivered one creative partner to dance with me, because we creatively dance a lot, me and Lil. It's an amazing, beautiful relationship. But there's also other relationships that came from that group. I was introduced to the artist's way because of the artist morning, which in turn introduced me to morning pages, which I in turn use for so many things. I created the course. I created the quiz that I released, the breathwork quiz. I asked for more time off of work and got it. I created so many beautiful things from that course. Not only that, I was introduced to some amazing people, people who asked me to lead a breathwork group for them, people who asked me to try this practice of voice alchemy, which ultimately led me to my vocal coach. And it was just such an amazing thing, an amazing, beautiful thing. So all of these things that came from it. Not only that, because of this group, I asked my former career coach, who has an amazing podcast, I made a request for them to do a book club on the artist's way, which they did. And they have such an amazing group of people that follow them, clients and everything like that, who are also introduced to the artist's way. So that just satisfied so many things on so many levels. Not only did I have creative partners to dance with, which was my request from the universe at the time, but I also had this fulfillment of this creative outlet, these morning pages that I do every morning, and the ability to have that teaching spread all the way around. And it's such a beautiful thing that comes from one small desire that you really don't know. Like, again, there's this overarching theme. And the most beautiful thing that I got from that experience was the realization that it isn't just me. Like, that creation wasn't just for me. If the universe can do that on my behalf, then anybody that I worry about, anybody that I feel like I need to have some concern about, it's really not my business. It's really not my concern, because the universe is watching out for them too. And for those of you who are empaths, who are highly sensitives, you kind of know what I'm talking about here, especially if you've had some issues with codependency in the past. You kind of know what I'm talking about here. You worry about people that you love. And to know that the universe is acting on my behalf, not just for me, but for everybody, for you too. And so it's an amazing thing when you trust the universe, and when you let go, and when you let go of attachment, when you process your feelings, and when you say, hey, I'm feeling lonely, but here's something that's going to make me feel better or help me process my feelings. Hey, I'm feeling like I want to watch this meditation. Hey, I'm feeling like I need to take action and join this group. Hey, I need to watch out for these little synchronous signs. And I did all of that, and I let go of expectations, and it was just such a beautiful thing. As I said earlier, I have so many more stories to share about what it looks like when you trust the universe, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. So if you're saying, that's great, but how do I do that? How do I learn how to, trust the universe? I do have some journal prompts for you to use. As I said earlier, these journal prompts are really good questions and really good prompts that you can use to journal. And I'll share them in the link below. So if you're not part of my newsletter, you can click on the link and be added to my newsletter and get these journal prompts so that you can journal with these questions. So the first journal prompt is, what does trusting the universe mean to you? The second journal prompt is, what is your relationship with the universe? Are there any hard feelings, any codependency issues with the universe? And if so, what would it take to resolve them? The third journal prompt is, describe any synchronous moments of magic, either now or in your past. Really describe them, really get into it. Really think about all of the things that had to happen in order for you to experience that moment. all of the things that had to line up so that you could be there at that moment to experience that synchronicity. Really get into it. This is a really fun exercise. I recommend doing like pages and pages of this, because then you're going to really be able to look back, especially when you lose faith that the universe is really looking out for you. And the last journal prompt is probably one of my favorites. What would your life look like if you fully trusted that the universe was always looking out for you? What would change? Like, what would you do? Like, is there something in your life that might be different that you'd let go of if you fully understood and fully knew without a doubt that the universe was looking out for you? So I hope that these tips and journal prompts and the story I shared with you really resonate with you and help you along your journey in trusting the universe. And I would love to hear from you. What does it look like when you trust the universe? What kind of stories do you have around that? And what tips would you like to share about trusting the universe? Be sure to leave them in the comments below. That's it for this time. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.